Alright guys, if you didn't know, a couple of weeks ago, Lil88 announced that he's retiring from music, and let's just say it didn't exactly go the way he wanted, and I'm not sure what he thought it would do, but let me just jump right into it. He began by saying, "Y'all win, I quit." He then said, "Since I quit, no, I'm not dropping none of these songs y'all asking about either, so keep asking yourself, me on Twitter. They calling too many fouls on KD. Fans, F you, Hitler. KD don't know you, and you not YVL." So before even going into the reactions here, he's kind of doing like this like high school pick me girl type thing where he's like, "Oh man, I don't even want to. I'm just gonna leave. You don't even like me. You guys don't even like me. You guys don't even like me." All right, that's what he's doing. And he expected everyone to be like, no, we didn't mean like that. No, we didn't call you that. This is what people. That's what he thought people would say. This is what people actually said. Finally, LeBron meme. Let me throw some on the grill. Yes. Emoji. It's time to party. That day has come. If you know this Twitter meme, thank you so much, 88. This is the best thing you've ever done. So, two things. Number one, I believe like right before he tweeted this, there was like this Lil Uzi Vert tweet about, like a fan tweet about Lil88 being on the project. Like, no, not Lil88. And that probably got to his head. But even before this, Ken Carson's Sydney Sweeney transition and, Lone's album, honestly kind of being ruined by Lil88, caused his reputation to tank this much. But let's go over some other stuff people said. Nuff said, "Sorry for no post today, guys. I felt something that I haven't felt in a long time, and that's joy. The utter disgrace I have for myself is sickening, since I have allowed myself to feel this thing called joy, and Lil88 is to blame. His announcement to quit his horrendous, lousy, pitiful, terrorizing beat making and contribution to music, in air quotes, has truly spiked my dopamine, and I don't know if I'll ever recover. Generational talent hater." Not gonna lie, that was pretty crazy. Hyperpop Daily was also celebrating, by the way. Gas Baby posted a newspaper of being dead. I don't even know if I can say that guy's name. Probably gotta get censored. However, there were some people who were defending him on the original tweet itself. Some people were saying, "Yo, you created some great songs in this era. Don't listen to them." And honestly, I agree. Lil88 is a little overhated. No way they rattled your head that much. No way you let a bunch of trend hoppers make you quit. And of course, the well-respected King Bob. I mean, if you don't know who King Bob is, he's like this leaker in the Cardi community, saying, "Unfortunately, nobody will ever see how hard you work behind the scenes so that people can enjoy the music." People were also making fun of news pages for adding tears to his face. I mean, I totally would never, ever do that. Ever do that. No, not me. Oh, this is the Lil Uzi tweet, I think. But yeah, that's the hate. But I also wanted to talk about how it got so bad and what Lil88 can do from here, because, his reputation really is in the mud, but I do think he can help it. And I also want to talk about how it even got to this point in the first place, because he's not like a horrible producer. He really is not. So let's get into it. So before we even get into all of that, I have to give you some context. If you don't know, Lil88 is like childhood friends with Ken Carson. Lil88 is TM88's nephew. Lil88 is the reason why Ken Carson was in the studio with 808 Mafia and made all these connections, eventually connecting with Cardi. So honestly, a lot of Ken Carson's career, he has Lil88 to thank for. Of course, he put in the work, etc. I'm not saying he made him or anything, but they're like day ones, all right? Anyways, Lil88 has always been producing for Ken. He was cool. No one really had any problems with him. He was just like a producer. That's it. Then as time went on, there were some scamming allegations, but you know how that goes. Like, if you're quote unquote cool enough, no one really cares. But here's where things started getting a little tough for his reputation. He began like instigating beef, speaking on Yeet, other people, this and that, just being really bold and, I don't know, kind of moving how a rapper moves. So let me explain something to you. In hip hop, being producers are like the most disrespected role ever. And I'm not even saying that that's supposed to be the case. It's just how it goes. They're just bent over constantly. Like, I'm gonna tell you something, all right? So let's say a producer makes a beat, they send it to a rapper, and the rapper's like, they hop on it and they are like, "I want to release this," all right? The producer, guess how many points on the master the producer gets on the song? They get 1 point, meaning they get 1% of the song. If you're like, "Oh, you're fire," you get like 2. If you're like Murder Beats, you might get like 5. You know what I mean? That's how less they get. This is if an artist is signed to a label, but even then, this is very common. And then they get half of the publishing, all right? On top of that, many producers never get paid upfront advances for the beats, so they basically do not make a lot of money. They're not very respected, and they're just constantly on, all right? Not everyone is Metro Boomin. And I think as much as a lot of people like to say it's messed up, I feel like fans, from the way they behave, actually want it to be this way as well. Because when producers start popping their shit And I'm not saying like fans want this all the time, because you can look at a producer like We Gonna Be Okay, who has the most positive reception of all time. You know, they're saying he's gonna be like the next Pureborn or some shit. You know what I mean? He's just going on a great run. I feel like people really them. But part of the reason why they really them is because he doesn't really say too much. He's just like, you know, maybe that's how it's supposed to be. Maybe being a producer, part of that is just understanding how to take on this behind the scenes role. But when Lil88 began beefing with rappers and doing this and just saying too much, fans just started to hate him. I think they started to hate him for a couple of reasons. Number one, he's like opium, right? You know, opium, mysterious, this and that. He's like breaking that whole code. So I think that kind of like turns off some fans. The other thing is it just makes people hate you. I think it's like a lose-lose. Like, you gotta think of it. He was dissing Yeet, and Ken wasn't dissing Yeet directly, right? I think Ken and Lone were using Lil88 as like a messenger. And the fans, I feel like some Ken and Lone fans started hating Lil88 because they didn't want Ken and Yeet to be beefing, and Yeet fans started not fucking with Lil88 because, you know, they're Yeet fans. And a bunch of other fans just fucking with him because he was being obnoxious to them. You get the point? He was kind of just losing everywhere. Then all the scamming allegations started getting brought up, and you know, this is where you gotta kind of respect it and also kind of be like, all right, maybe you should just slow down. Lil88, instead of like backing off, just went even harder with his personal brand, I guess you could say. He was just tweeting more, just doing the most. You know what I mean? You gotta understand, like, fans normally, like, think of the most loved producers. Like, I'm just gonna name some of Cardi's producers. Filthy was super loved. He's the most out the way guy ever. You know what I mean? Like, I think he dissed Lucky and it was like, oh my god, that was so lame. But for the most part, no one's really like talking about Filthy like that. I just named Okay. Think of like all these producers. They're mostly just, you just don't hear about them. And if you do, you might be a producer. It might just be too deep. Like your neck might just be in that hole. If that makes sense. Okay, pause. I didn't mean it like that, but you get my point. Now, even people who are fire, like legitimately big and influential like that, like Pureborn, get pushed back too. If you don't know, Pureborn has had a number of like petty beefs. You know, the reason why Ken Carson hasn't hopped on a Pureborn beat is because Pureborn, when Ken Carson was small, told him that, basically said something along the lines of, you're not my level. And he has like a bunch of other scuffles with people as well. I think he had like he tried to charge Trippie Redd like $50K for a beat once to get some other stuff, you know. I think he had a little tuffle online with Opium Baby, and you know, I mean, there's like all these little things. And even that kind of hurt him a little bit, you know. Now, I wanted you to put Pierre or any of these producers in a rapper's shoes. Like, let's say it was like a rapper, Lil88 was a rapper, right? And he was making these disses and saying this and that. It would be totally normal. You know, fans encourage this type of behavior. They like to see beef between rappers and rappers, you know what I mean? I think they just don't want to see it from producers. I don't know. I mean, I guess part of it is just gonna be like, what are you gonna do? Drop a beat? Like, you know what I mean? I guess Metro Boomin did it with Baby I can't sing, sorry. But you know, that's probably it. But I think it mostly just stems from fans wanting producers to be behind the scenes and not really wanting much more from them. I also think that while all those reasons are valid, Lil88 does do too much. Like, I think we can all agree that. And I think he does not bring as much creativity as other producers do, even though he is good at the sound he does make. Like, for example, he has good stuff with Ken. He does. You know what I mean? I just think, let's cite Destroy Lonely's last album, Love Lasts Forever, or Black America, whatever we call it. Lil88's sound just made Destroy Lonely basic. It stripped away the creativity that fans love from Destroy Lonely. And, you know, I guess it's a valid reason to dislike Lil88. Now, let's go back to the second question I proposed at the middle of this video. What can he do to get better? So, number one, as I said, he has produced good songs. I would just say, all he has to do is be silent. Just be silent, drop some good music, and people will with you. Like, the best thing he could do is drop like a big ass single with an artist, and that would shut everyone up. You know what I mean? Like, I think that would redeem himself. You know what I mean? But that's really what it's gonna take. And also being silent, like very, very, very silent, you know? Like, just let your work speak for itself. You know what I mean? Like, think of like Art Dealer. You know that producer, that Cardi producer? Like, he doesn't say shit. He just lets his work speak for itself. You know, think of Molly Raw with Uzi. Like, Molly Raw, he did have like this little beef with Uzi, but that was because of Uzi, you know? Molly Raw never said shit. One of the most loved producers. Think of all these producers. They're really not saying too much or doing too much. They're just working. You know what I mean? Probably what would be best. Do I think Lil88 will ever do this? Fuck no. Fuck no. He's never doing this shit, bro. He's like, you know what I mean? But yeah, I think he'll be around because he has the relationships. And, you know, it is funny to me how hated he is. Like, it is like a trend to hate on him. Because, I mean, at one point, people saw Lil88 doing whippets on an IG live, and they saw Uzi doing whippets, and they were like, and they saw Uzi and Lil88 together, and they blamed Lil88 for putting Uzi onto whippets. Like, bro, I don't think you put him onto whippets, but you can genuinely, like, you can ask a bunch of fans this online or whatever. I've seen this multiple times. There are a lot of Uzi fans who genuinely think that Lil88 put Uzi onto whippets. I'm like, bro, they did not. You know what I mean? So when people start believing like that about you, it's like, all right, this might be a little concerning. But anyways, that's the whole spiel about Lil88. You know, this generation's greatest producer. Yeah, he's pretty cool. He's cool. He's not like some Starboy out of town Luso shit, but he's pretty good. He's good. You know what I mean? And yeah, that's all I have to say. Take care. Bye.